and welcome to the bronze match for this week's 5 versus 5 Smite Prime Battle for Athens. Right now, I'm joined with Serial.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Well, this game looks like it's going to start off pretty well because we've got Big Fan Team here on the Order side versus Kios Esports on the Chaos side. We didn't get a chance to go through picks and bans here, but tell me a little bit about these drafts and what does each one bring to the table?
So it's interesting that Turk Kavisi has decided to go for the Apollo. That's an interesting pick because a lot of people decide that Apollo doesn't have a whole lot of team fight potential. The only thing that he really brings to the table in terms of team fight is his ultimate, being able to rotate in the mid game. But on that side, they also have the Ardio, which is going to be a great CC for the blue team, and they also have an Ao Kwang, which will do a great job for the execution later on in the game. So they have a pretty good early game, pretty good mid game, but transitioning into the late game, that Ao Kwang is going to do a whole lot of damage for the blue team.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about this Ao Kwang, because we haven't really seen Ao Kwang ever in Season 5, especially since he took a couple hits in the first patch of the season. So why do you think he's being brought out now?
Well, people are afraid to play Ao Kwang, especially in the competitive scene, because of how horrendous his early game is. He has to spend a lot of time farming up to make sure he can get some items online. He transitions into the late game incredibly well, but his early game usually gets punished. A great pick to pick into an Ao Kwang would be something like a Ravana or something early game like a Kukulkan in the jungle, but they opted to go for a Daji, which has a pretty good early game as well. But the Ao Kwang is going to have a hard time if Daji decides she wants to go on him. Picking the Ao Kwang into something like a Daji or a Cerberus is going to be great. Cerberus steals health from other people when they're gaining health, whether it's life steal or whether it's an ability that they have that heals them. So the Ao Kwang, instead of them getting that heal off, Ao Kwang will be able to execute them before they can get it off.
Yeah, well, that is pretty great here, but right now we are seeing that Kios Esports does have a little bit of an advantage here, having already done their red buff in the mid lane, and right now the Sputzar is now going to his back camp, so he will be getting that little bit of extra farm that I Gonna Die is lacking a little bit here. But talk to me a bit about this solo lane matchup. I mean, Cerberus is not really that new anymore per se, but we don't see a whole lot of chalk, so what's this matchup like?
This matchup should go the way of Chalk. He has pretty low cooldowns on his 1 as well as on his 2, so he can do a whole lot of damage. Picking the Cerberus into a Chalk is going to reduce Chalk's healing from the Warrior's Blessing as well as from his third ability. But overall, Chalk should be able to get a good amount of pressure. Playing a Guardian in the solo lane, most of the time people aren't looking for kills as much as they're looking just to stall to the late game because of how tanky they are in the early mid game. So there's not going to be a whole lot of kill potential on the side of Cerberus, but he'll be able to sustain through quite a bit of the poke that Chalk's able to throw out.
You were kind of talking about how the goal of Kios Esports draft here is to kind of wait out for the late game, but hold that thought here. We see that the Sputzar is catching I Gonna Die, invading these back camps, but great invis there, does get away without taking any ticks from the 1,000 cuts, but the Sputzar wants to go in, using the teleport there to dash in, but Magandi is here, so he needs to be careful. The Shadow Pro is on the way, throwing out the breath, but I Gonna Die is going to back off a little bit, and it looks like the Sputzar is going to be fine.
Yeah, and that was a great rotation by Chalk coming over to make sure Ao Kwang could get out there. That was a great invis right at the very beginning before he could take the tick damage from Daji's passive. So that was a great job by the Ao Kwang to quick get that invis off, and then another great job by the Chalk to come and save him. Daji was doing a great job trying to go after that Ao Kwang to punish him. Like we were talking about earlier, the Ao Kwang has a pretty horrendous early game most of the time, depending on how they play it. But this Chalk is helping him out. If he tries to go for that invade, he'll be able to get out safely.
Yeah, and that was just honestly really great team awareness here. But speaking of awareness, they've got to just keep a look on this Terra here in the dual lane. She has hit that crucial level 3, so she will be able to use all 3 of her abilities, which is kind of where Terra struggles, I might say, in the early game, because she doesn't have that wombo combo, you might say. But because she has all these abilities now, and she has actually forced Taco back to base for the first time, Jing and Terra do have pressure in this lane, so they might look to keep pushing on this and take away that red buff. So what kind of expense would that bring for Big Fan Team?
If Big Fan Team is allowed to go into the jungle and steal away that red buff, oh, looks like there might be a gank. Nope, it looks like they're completely aware that the jungler is missing from the mid lane. Oh, they're pushing up though. The blue team is pushing up while the Daji is sitting in the jungle. Daji just does have the ult, and Daji into an RDO is going to be a really bad place for this RDO. If he can hit the stun, which it looks like he does, Daji pulls in the RDO. RDO doesn't have anywhere to go after that. They clean it up just so easily. Ao Kuang's over there looking for the counter gank, but he realizes that there are 3 people versus the 1. No one's really low health after the med was used by the Terra. He's just gonna take off and go try farm somewhere else. That was a great rotation by the Daji and great patience not to show herself until they pushed up out of position like that.
And you can tell that she did want to go over there because just taking a look at the map here, there is a sentry ward out already. And typically we don't really see those until maybe like the 10-minute mark. But right now, Gauss Esports definitely wanted to prioritize pressure in that duo lane with that sentry ward so high up. Just to make sure that she would definitely not get spotted out on that rotation. And it certainly rewarded her well. I mean, she's gotten the first blood.
Yeah, that was a great rotation by the Daji. Unfortunately, Daji soaked a little bit of XP from the mid and the support there in the mid lane. When the jungler has all of her jungle up, normally the jungler wants to rotate and get those jungle camps instead of staying inside of a lane. But it looks like it was just a little bit of tax for that rotation she had over to the duo lane.
Yeah, she is hitting level 6 here, so truly not that far behind, but over on the left-hand side, Terra's coming back behind us. Apollo, nice miss there to take away the dash, but Dux will just be right on out of there with the secondary dash that he achieved from hitting that pillar. But N5 Ball is going to just keep on auto-attacking. They really want to keep this pressure very high here. As you can see, Big Fan Team did throw out a ward here so that they will know, but the sentry is still active. So if the team of Gauss Esports does get a chance to take that away, they're definitely going to want to. And it looks like Hako might give them some room to do that.
Yeah, this RDO has to be a little bit careful. Looks like RDO is a little bit pushed out of position, and they are going to clean that up very easily. The Terra using that root and right into the Jingwei knockup. There's a lot of damage with the Jingwei knockup being level 6 now. It's a level 2.
Oh, but hold that thought. Right here at the red buff, this Sputzar has jumped onto Crafter, and there he goes. I mean, N5 Ball was right there, and thankfully they just noticed the red buff had spawned. So Gauss Esports taking 2 kills on the left-hand side and the red buff, it seems.
Yeah, it looks like Gauss Esports has a lot of pressure, and you see this team awareness yet again.
Great shot.
This time on the side of Gauss Esports instead of on Turk Kavisi. As soon as the Ao Kuang decided he wanted to try to go on that Scylla, Daji showed up to bail her out. Now they're going to be able to look for that Gold Fury. And this is a 7-minute 30-second Gold Fury already.
Apollo is up in the sky though, and RDO is aware, going to dash right in there. It looks like it was stolen away! Hako there does get a kill and the Gold Fury, it seems, but the pillar does come out from the Daji. Vulcan ult is popped as well to get Hako out, but my goodness, what a rotation.
Yeah, not only did Turk Kavisi, not only were they able to steal that Gold Fury, they were also able to pick up a kill at the same time. That is a great turn of events for Turk Kavisi, especially with the pressure that Gauss Esports was just able to get in the last couple fights.
Yeah, excellent response there from Big Fan Team. And right now, Hirdot and Hako are not done yet. Jingwei has no mana, and Hirdot is the Apollo, so he will be able to push down this tower pretty easily with that Audacity passive should he choose to. But Terra's on the way, and Terra, known for her pretty decent clear as a support, should be able to handle that wave just fine. So looks like they will not be pushing that any further, but Daji is still showing some presence here in the mid lane, but there goes the Mage's Blessing for the Vulcan, who is unfortunately a level and a bit behind considering he's gotten his buffs invaded. But on this left hand side, there goes the Sputzar trying to find Hirdot. Great mess to get her away, but speed buff will have her catch right on up. Nice blades there, trying to get that passive down. One more hit, and there he goes.
Yeah, that was a great utilization of that slow passive, as well as using the speed buff to catch up to the Apollo. Thought there might be another engagement. They've got 4 people grouped up around that damage buff. Looks like Turk Kavisi is going to give up that red buff one more time. But that was a great chase by the Daji. Unfortunately, the RDO wasn't close enough to Apollo to keep him alive.
Yeah, really, it seems like that's been kind of an issue here with this duo lane. They've been sort of split up the whole game, but Ak has made the rotation and might get still off guard here, but going underground with the Sentinel does make it out okay. Great wall there, but it's immune by the ultimate out of Chalk, and Cerberus has arrived as well, throwing the breath onto the mid wave. He might decide to jump on in here and try and throw that ultimate onto either of the susceptible targets under that tower. But it looks like he's not going to.
Apollo does use his ult to try to show some presence in the mid lane, knowing that the Jingwei is going to be rotating soon. This is an interesting rotation by both of the solo laners, seeing as the Gold Fury is already done. You see just how much damage that the Ao Kuang is already putting out though onto the Terra. Half health with just 2 abilities. Right now,
the ultimate on the left-hand side coming out of the Dashi. No beads available from Hirodon, so it looks like that's going to be his life. But the Spudsar's got to run away. Igonadai is trying to follow up, but unfortunately there misses the dragons. Will be okay. Wave looked like she was going to follow up and chase on him, but he'll be just fine.
Yeah, this Daji is carrying this game so far. 2-0-3 has been a part of 5 of the 6 kills so far on the side of Kiaz Esports. Doing a great job farming, taking a little bit of farm in mid, but most of the time making sure that all of his buffs are completed on the right-hand side of the map. Daji just went back to base. The Sputsar is going to be on his way. The Daji is going to be on her way to clear out the camps on the solo side of the map. And that's really where the jungler wants to spend most of their time to make sure that they keep their farm up.
And right now Cerberus will be completing his own blue buff, thankfully not getting it invaded. That would be a little bit rough for the poor doggo in the solo lane, but he will be able to get that just fine. We did see the Chalk putting a ton of pressure on that tower, but unfortunately he's just Chalk and he's still in the early game, so he does not do a whole lot of tower damage. But holding that thought here, on this left-hand side it looks like Terra is sort of solo invading this red buff, but a couple more punches should do it, and the buff does fall down, but Scylla's got to be careful. She's got 2 on her backhand side. Great root. Have a monster comes out, throws it on down, but not before Einfrei Ball gets the kill onto the Vulcan. Nice root, but a great jump there from the Spudsar to grab that last hit. Ao Kuang is looking to jump in the mix, but he will be just fine going back under that mid-tier 1 tower. But what a great engagement there.
Yeah, Vulcan didn't even have a chance to get his ult off, and as we know, the Ardio does not even have an ultimate ability. However, the Vulcan wasn't even able to get his ultimate off. He died so quickly. That was a great CC by the Terra to make sure he couldn't do anything with the root into the stun. And then they're able to rotate from that team fight, cleaning up 2 kills, and then able to pick up that Pyromancer right afterwards.
Oh, on this left-hand side here, the Cerberus is chasing so hard under here. Actually was able to find the kill there. Unfortunately, he did miss the ultimate there. Did hit it per se, but the CC was still being beaten out, so did not receive the pull, but using the jump and using the spit, he was able to pick up the kill there, and that's gotta be a feels bad man there for the Apollo, getting chased down by the solo laner.
Yeah, and now that Kiaz Esports knows that Apollo won't have his beads and all he's going to have is his ultimate ability, the Daji is going to be looking to pull him into a sticky situation the next team fight that they have.
I mean, right now the Daji is trying to save that solo side tower, but finally the Chalk was able to take it down. Ardio looks like she wants to go in here in the mid lane, and Felino's just going to dash on out. We know they're outnumbered here, but Daji and Terra are on the way. They've got their ultimates merely available, and that could be really good news here if they decide to engage.
Yeah, if you take a look on the left side of the map, the Jingwei is playing super aggressive in this Apollo, as she should, having that 3-level difference as well as having a T2 Executioner over the Apollo, who only has his boots. This Jingwei can pressure as hard as she wants as long as she has vision towards the mid side of the map. And with how much pressure they've had on this left side, invading the red buff over and over again, 3 times invading, this is the first time this game since the very beginning that Turk Kavisi has been able to secure their own red buff.
And that's just gotta be another like way that they need to come back to this game. They finally were able to get control back on that red buff, but I don't know how much further they can push here. I mean, the lead isn't that great, alright, but even in the dual lane, I mean, just looking at the level difference here, level 10 for the Apollo to level 12 on the Jingwei, that's going to be really rough, especially considering the stacks here on the Devourer's Gauntlet. I mean, Jingwei is done. Meanwhile, Apollo is only at 39.
Yeah, it looks like Ardio is in a little bit of a sticky situation, having to use that escape ability. Again, we talked about how Ardio doesn't have a CC immune ult. Daji doesn't even have to expend the ult, though. It looks like the Ardio is just a little bit too far out of position. There's a 5-man rotation over on the left side. Looks like they're grouping up for the Gold Fury fight here. Getting that pick on the Turk Kavisi already. Getting that Ardio back to base is going to allow them to have a little bit more pressure if they want to fight over here.
On this
Yeah.
left-hand side, Ao Kwang does want to go in, but the knockup unfortunately pushed him out of the Sikkim, so he will be safe to teleport back on away. But Daji goes in, is putting a ton of damage here on Raptor, and Raptor goes down, but Spud has to go up into the ultimate to try and find the Chalk. Does get the chain, but the teleport will be thrown out. Nice pickup there from the Cerberus, but unfortunately, the teleport was still good, so he does manage to get away under that tier 2 tower. Daji's not done, but Hirdot says no thank you, goes right up into the sky and gets him right on out.
Yeah, I was going to say Apollo needs to be careful hiding under that T1 tower, seeing as there are 5 people and we're 15 minutes into the game. The Cerberus is pretty tanky with his build so far, having the full breastplate built already. He could dive that T2 tower for his team and take out the Apollo. Looks like there's a fight around Gold Fury. Scylla's using her ult. Scylla uses the ult a little bit too late, but Kiaz Esports is able to secure that Gold Fury as well as the kill on LL Hakol.
Yeah, right now iGonnadie tried to contest that Gold Fury as well, but is going to die for that for sure. And right now it might be the case here that Kiaz is going to try and push down this mid tower because they've got 4 people here. Granted, the Jingwei's not here, but Daji's going in pretty hard. Unfortunately, there gets messed away, but the Shadow Pro is willing to tank this for days. Crush slightly off the mark, but the Shadow Pro is doing so much damage. And a long-range snipe there from the Sikkim is going to be the end of him. But the Shadow Pro ends up taking too much, and Chalk shows up, and that's going to be the end of him.
Looks like Daji was looking to invade that speed buff, but realizing that she was really low on mana, so she's just gonna retreat back to their own side of the map. They got enough on that fight, getting the Gold Fury and killing 3 members on the side of Turk Kavisi. Yeah, Kiaz Esports is doing a great job controlling this game, making sure they're grouped up for the team fights, and basically 5 versus 1 on every person on the side of Turk Kavisi so far.
The lead has increased to about 5k, and that's kind of the make or break point. You don't really want your lead to get any higher than this before it gets kind of iffy in terms of whether or not you can come back. But just talk to me a little bit about what Big Fan Team need to do to get back into this game.
Well, I think they're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. The Vulcan is 2 levels down right now, and it looks like he's building into a Stone of Foul so that he doesn't get blown up by the Ao Kwang so quickly. However, he does sacrifice building the boots directly after Warlocks, so that's going to push his build back a pretty good amount. What I was going to say though, instead of they need to wait for the Vulcan to get a huge ultimate, and if the Vulcan can get a big ultimate in the middle of a team fight, then that's really going to be their turning point. A huge Vulcan ultimate into an Ao Kwang execute is the way that they turn it around.
We'll see if that can happen or not, but right now on this left-hand side, Hako gets almost stunned out there, but a great mez from the Apollo right up into the sky, but unfortunately the Hako will fall right on down to the rotation from the Spudstar.
Yeah, that was an interesting wall by the Terra, preventing the Jingwei from hitting the auto attacks on the Apollo, but they were able to pick up that kill on the RDO. Again, here's another example of how it's a 4v1, it's a 4v2 with the Ao Kwang here. But again, people on the side of Turk DC, these players keep getting themselves caught out of position. They have to be
but
really
Vulcan
careful with
goes
these.
down on no one, unfortunately, and the Shadow Pro is diving onto Raptor, and Raptor doesn't have boots still. I mean, 2 slows plus no boots equals dead Vulcan. What else is there to say?
Yeah, there's not much that the Vulcan could do there, and instead of opting for the Aegis or the Sanctuary, the Aegis Amulet, instead of buying that Aegis Amulet, he decided he wanted to buy Bracer of Undoing. So if he wants to get that heal off, he can give it a good shot, but with Cerberus on the side of Kiaz Esports, that's going to be a severe reduction in health return from that Bracer of Undoing.
Not to mention that, but there's also a Pestilence on the Terra already, so any healing that the Vulcan might receive from that is just gonna get immune. Not really anything he can do about that, but right now it looks like Kiaz want to go for the Spire Giant, but Apollo is here and the Spudstar is incredibly low, so this may be a risky call. Hirdot does try and fight into this, and Daji goes up into the ultimate to try and chase down, but I'm a Monster comes out! Unfortunately dies before he gets the smackdown, but really good response there from Kiaz to fight on right back into that.
Yeah, that's a level 16 Jingwei with tier 2 crit item already built. If anyone's going to show up, and it's that 10% crit chance on the Jingwei, as well as her crit chance she gets on her bolts on her number 2 ability, those crits are going to do a lot of damage to anyone who tries to walk near that Jingwei. And that Jingwei is now level 17. That is the highest level in the game so far.
now Igonadai is trying to fight back into the Terra, but Cerberus is here, also level 17, and Vulcan, man, he just wants to clear his wave in peace, but still, 19 minutes of the game, no boosts.
Yeah, and you can see how effective the Cerberus pick is into this comp, going on that Vulcan and slowing him the entire duration of his 2. If the Vulcan can get his Magma Bomb off, some people refer to it as his meatball. Some people, if you can disrupt that Cerberus slow, would be significant help. Still doesn't have his boots, and that slow stays on him for a little bit longer.
Oh, double blink in there from the team of Yazi Sports, and the Spudsar finishes off the Vulcan with the tick. And Boy Fry is in a little bit of trouble here, it seems, but actually he'll just get a double kill. You know, what do Captain know? Surrender Road has started, but it looks like that's just going to be the mid-tier 1 tower. And 3 kills for the side of Kiaz Esports, but they're just going to back off. They don't really want to push this tier 2 tower, it seems. Apollo is over there on the left-hand side split pushing, but the Fire Giant is the next call here.
Yeah, this Apollo is split pushing, but he doesn't have a whole lot of items built, and building that Executioner, and with the nerf into Titan, they not allowing you to do penetration to towers, he's going to have a hard time split pushing even with his passive.
Ooh. That fire was done pretty fast.
Yeah, Kiaz Esports able to secure that Fire Giant. The second coming out from Solopok from teleporting out to his axe. That was a great use of abilities, making sure that they can get that kill after the Fire Giant.
They've been before with the Chalk teleporting out, and we're like, nah, that's not going to happen again, bud. You're stuck.
Yeah, great awareness by the Solo to make sure that she saves that Sikkim to keep the Chalk in place after the dodgy ultimate. Apollo's doing his best to get as much farm as he can. That split push was pretty good for him to get a couple levels. At the beginning of that split push, now he's level 15. So even though able to get that tower, he understands that he can't team fight. He dies too quick and doesn't do enough damage to the rest of Kiaz Esports. So he recognizes he needs to AFK farm, as some people would say, as much as he can right now.
Not willing to AFK farm. It comes in there on the RDO, but on this left-hand side, Einfrei Ball is trying to take the fight against this Apollo, who's just gonna sprint away back to his RDO, trying to stay as safe as possible. Right now, in this middle side, Terra wants to go in right next to the Cerberus, but Dazi's gonna be the one to engage, jumping onto the Vulcan, who still does not have boots.
And over on the left-hand side, Einfrei Ball does a coup again, stayed a little bit too long. That level 19 Jingwei with full Deathbringer and already a tier 1 Poison Star, I'm assuming it's going to be. Looks to use his ultimate ability, just a little bit of disruption in the mid lane. They're going to try to defend this tier 2 tower, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to. The Scylla Crush doing half health to the Apollo. Apollo using his mez to get away. To go in and do some damage to get an execute off of the Cerberus who's taking the tower, but Smutsar is able to clean up the kill on the Alquang, who was a half health before he even came into that fight. Chaka's running around underneath the tower. He's about half health. We'll see if he's able to live long enough to try to pick up a kill. The tower is still half health and no one's really focusing it. But Jingwei is going to be rotating. They're about to have a 5v1 on the Chalk here in mid. The Chalk opting to go hang out in the lane instead of run away.
Vulcan does come out here and he tries to get some damage on them, but the chains are going to come out, and so is the Scylla ultimate. Unfortunately, off the mark there. Not prepared for the Vulcan to walk straight into her, but Crush is going to do it, and that's going to be the kill for the Scylla. And on this left-hand side here, Jingwei, no mercy here, is immortal, gets those 11 kills in a row. I mean, 11 and I mean, they already have the Phoenix, and they might just go for the game here. Titan's at 50% health right now, nothing Igonadai can do, and that looks like it is going to be the game.
Yeah, that Jingwei pushing over on the duo lane side. The Apollo doing his very best to defend, but he took a few too many shots before that Phoenix was taken down, and as soon as that Phoenix was taken down, Jingwei had free reign to just dive the Apollo as hard as she wanted.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say who did a better job that game, the Daji or the Jingwei, because we saw the Daji's aggression really lead to putting so much pressure in that dual lane, but Jingwei popped off, man. She went 12-0 and I don't know how many assists, but that doesn't matter. So many kills there.
Yeah, that Daji played a fantastic game there. Not only was she confident to go in with that ultimate ability, being able to jump in and immediately ult before she could get CC'd or take any damage really at all, but she was confident that her team was going to follow up with her with the Cerberus as well as that Terra. So great confidence with the team.
So much follow-up there on the side of Chaos Esports. We did see a shimmer of hope here from the solo lane Shmagandi on the chalk, but unfortunately was not enough to bring his team together and push forward to the win. So that will be the bronze match here in this week's Battle for Athens, but we still have the finals coming up next, and we'll see you guys there soon. Hello everyone and welcome back to the finals of this week's 5 vs 5 Smite Prime Battle for Athens, and right now we have some early engages here on the side of Denisa Transports, and I'm still here with Serial, and welcome to the finals.
Yeah, it looks like they were trying to get the early pick on the Hunbats. They were able to burn the beads on the Hunbats right away, which is going to be not a huge deal at the early game, but it's definitely something to be aware of as they try to rotate for their own buffs.
Yeah, and right now we are seeing that the Cerberus has won this trade here, actually having 3 stacks in his Warrior's Blessing in return to the Xingqian's 2. I mean, that's how you know the soul lane's already over, boys. Let's go home, pack it up. We got 3 stacks in my Warrior's Blessing.
Yep, it looks like the mid and the jungle are both going to be splitting the speed buff camps. A lot of times you'll see the mid player just go ahead and go to mid and let the jungler solo the speed buffs so that can get a little bit more XP, but it looks like both teams are going to quickly clear the speed buff. Over on the duo side though, Athena starting with her dash, slowing the Ganesha and allowing the Ganesha to take a little bit more poke than anyone else on the team on the side of Jisen's East Transports.
Right now, though, Quintinus has been poked at quite a bit by the Heavenly Banner and by the Ganesha's 1, so it looks like they will just return to their purple buff, slow it on down, clear up, and try and just get as much experience as they can before they decide to brawl out, because Hachiman is pretty good at fighting a level 1 versus a Rom, because Rom has only got that little steroid, whereas Hachiman's got a banner that also gives him a steroid as well as some damage, so not someone you want to fight against level 1, and understandably so.
That's very true. However, the Rama and the Athena, both with the slows from the Astral Arrows on Rama and the dash for Athena, if Athena is able to hit that dash, that double slow is going to allow Rama to do a lot of damage if they're able to combo them correctly. Looks like there's the initial slow from Athena using the Shield of Warriors, but there's a good counter engage by the Ganesha and the Hachiman, able to poke Athena down to half health. This poke on the Guardians is a little bit less important than the poke on the ADCs because they do have the Guardian's Blessing, which allows them to sustain for a significantly long time. So.
Oh, nice steal away there by the Robin to take that mid camp away from Within here in the mid lane. We didn't get a real chance to talk about picks and bans, but actually, hold that thought, over the left-hand side, Sprint has been popped, and that's not any ordinary sprint, boys. That's an upgraded sprint, and that gives them the haste and fatalis effect that we all miss so much. And that's gonna end up giving first blood to the side of Gravity Surge.
Yeah, it looks like Athena opted to go for a Chalice of Healing instead of an upgraded Sprint, which allowed Gravity Surge's dual lane to have a little bit more pressure with that full-on gas pedal. The damage that gets put out from Ganesha, as well as the Heavenly Banner from Hachiman, which is too much for the Rama to withstand, as well as Rama accidentally dashing in at the very beginning of that engagement. So, great first blood on the side of Gravity Surge.
And right now they are going to be stuck under tower, but great taunt there to put a tower shot onto Pandabo, who will be sitting at half health right now, but more importantly on this right-hand side, there is a bit of a fight at these mid-camps. Oh, the monkey bounced the one too many times. Back onto that clay minion you go, Raymaster. No more fighting you.
We're going to see this Nuwa put a lot of pressure out with the minions. As soon as Gravity Surge sees those minions coming towards them, they're going to have to either engage or be ready to pre-beads for that channeling ability of the Hunbat's overhead smash. So that Nuwa's, the clay minions are going to have a lot of pressure, I think, in this early to mid game.
Yeah, Nuwa typically not thought of as a counter to Hunbats in any way, but being able to disengage whenever he jumps onto her is a pretty valuable skill. I mean, that's pretty good against anyone, I say, but specifically the Hunbats, who is going to rely on that crit auto attack that he does get from his passive. So with that empowered auto attack, he has to be within melee range, obviously. So, you know, not going to be able to do that against the Nuwa. So great choice there. But talk to me a little bit about this jungle matchup. Where does Robin have the advantage here, I guess you might say?
I'm not sure if anyone watched the stream earlier with the SML, but Robin was picked on a player called Cope Baby, and Cope Baby was able to run through the entire game. Robin is one of the best junglers in the game right now in Season 5. The damage that he puts out on his 1, as well as the slow, and then the route to follow up if they decide to use a dash ability, he puts out an extraordinarily high amount of damage. And he does a great job of being able to chase as well as even peel for his team. So he'll be used almost as an executioner as a secondary engage in the late game. And this early game with his 1 provides a significant amount of pressure for them.
Oh, dash in here on the left-hand side. Star Factor is going to try and get some pressure in here, but dash in from Panabo is going to be the stun, and the sprint is back up. So that is going to be that Hasten Fatalis one more time, and Panabo gets another kill on the Star Factor. But hold that thought, right in the middle lane here, we see the Anasol come out, and Witten has to run back to his tower. He was trying to put some damage onto some magic, but unfortunately was not able to grab that kill, but balls come out, so does the Monkey. Monkey does make the hit there, but they're gonna have to just back on up.
Hunbats did have his ultimate ability up there. I'm not sure why he didn't use it on the Robin. Maybe he knew that he still had his overhead kick available, which allows Robin to have immunity to any CC or damage for a split second. Maybe Hunbats was thinking that he would use that instantly, and he wanted to wait that out. But Robin very smartly held on to that second ability so that he could get away from the gank on Hunbats by Hunbats.
Yes, and even though there is a slight experience lead here for the side of Gravity Surge, it's slowly getting bigger as the time has gone on here. I mean, we've seen a lot of action happen in this duo lane, but slowly the mid and jungle have been out farming their direct opponents, and that's going to be pretty useful, especially in the mid game when, like you said, the Hunboss is going to wait for the perfect time to throw that Fear No Evil onto a carry. Probably the new one here, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, there's an interesting matchup over in the solo lane too. It's not often you get to see 2 Guardians going at it in the solo lane. Looks like Xingqian just used his ultimate slightly off the mark, wasn't able to pull the Cerberus. The Cerberus does have his ult, so if the Xingqian pushes too close to the tower, then the Xingqian could get thrown into the tower. Luckily for him, he does have a dash, which will help him. It'll give him a significant amount of protection, so if he does get thrown into tower, he can dash away and hopefully use those protections to his advantage from the first tower shot.
That is true, but as we like to say here at Smite that is quite the pillow fight over in the solo lane. The two of them will just smack each other for, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 minutes, and then finally someone will get the urge to do the Gold Fury, and then that's when they actually do things. And that's what you live for as a solo laner, being able to make those rotations. But hold that thought one more time. Left-hand side here. Ganesh ult pops, but Panabo not quite close enough to get the last hit. Diving the tower, actually trying to find it. Does get it! But Panabo may fall down here to Star Factor, and that shield wall is going to do it.
Yeah, there was an unfortunate miscommunication between the Nuwa and the Athena. Nuwa looking to pick up that kill with her ultimate, but the Athena doing just enough damage to pick up that kill before she could.
When they're having to burn the beads in the mid lane after the huge rotation from Gravity Surge over to the right-hand side to pick up a kill on Tanky Gobbles. And what a great kill that was. I mean, they committed 2 ultimates to it seems, but it was very well worth it from what I can tell at least.
Yeah, not only is that a kill on the side of Gravity Surge, but it's also, it gives them a lot of pressure on the map. So now they're able to go try to invade or look for some other farms that Tanky Gobbles is not going to be able to pick up.
Yeah, and Tanky Gobbles did lose an entire wave there to the tower, and unfortunately they were not able to invade his blue buff, but that still gives Axkill quite a bit of farm that his direct opponent didn't have. And I kind of wish I was seeing that type of rotation coming out of the Robin, but not really looking to happen right now. I mean, he tried to make his mark on this left-hand side in the dual lane, but was not able to find any kills, but maybe on Giannis this time, but no, portal out. Athena ult was used, but Root off the mark one more time, and looks like all of Gravity Surge is just gonna back off, trying not to get caught out here by this Robin.
Yeah, I think it's good that this Ravana is deciding to stay over in the dual lane side with this Ganesha, who's only a level 7. Great blink to avoid the damage from the overhead smash and possibly the damage from the Fear No Evil if it were to come out. This Robin can definitely look to put some pressure on the dual lane, especially with how much they've been able to run through Jahinza's dual lane. But if the Robin can rotate and try to get some damage off on this Ganesha, force his dash, and then chase after him, that could be a dead elephant.
Indeed, I mean, but that was their sprint and blink between the actives of the support and the jungler from Jahinza Transport, so probably not going to see an engage from them for a little while, but talk to me a little bit about the actives between the Robin
Well,
and
hold
the
on one
Moonbot.
moment. Over in the solo lane side, Fear No Evil is used. The monkey bounce is thrown, but Tanky Gobbles was able to use his ultimate to keep himself alive for just a moment longer, but to no avail. Too much damage coming out of the level 11 now Hunbats. That's a three-level difference between the Hunbats and the Ravana.
And that just goes to show who has been more effective here in this jungle. It's not necessarily all about farming in the jungle. You've got to make those ganks too to be totally effective. And right now, Robin just hasn't been doing that.
That's very true. That is very true. If you look at the builds difference so far, even though there's a 2-level difference between the Hunbats and the Ravana, they still have the exact same amount of items, and Hunbats is able to pick up a couple wards as well.
And those are going to pretty much be what is keeping Gravity Surge ahead of the mark here. They do have all that vision in the jungle, and right now there is even a ward here on this backside camp on the right side. So between that and sorry about that, gonna come on right back now to this little bit of an engage here. Magic does find with it on the backhand side, but Drasdo is still trying to go in here using the Cerberus ult and the Athena ult to his advantage, but Greymaster shows up and throws his own ultimate down. Taunt in from the Athena, but Magic just not able to find the follow-up. Greymaster gets so incredibly low, and he does manage to find the monkey out, and he will be okay, it seems. Nice jump out, and Ashkill actually finds the kill on a Tanky Gobble.
Yeah, that was a great patience by the Hunbats, though, to use his ultimate as late as possible, making sure that Robin used both of his CC immune abilities before he used it. That was a great play by the Hunbats, a double Fear No Evil, as well as the overhead smash into both of them. So that was a great gank on the side of Gravity Surge.
No, we've seen the Hunbots go all over the map, really, but we've seen a lot of focus being put on the solo side. Can you tell me why that is?
It's pretty interesting that that's happening. Most of the time you want to be focusing the dual lane because of how squishy the ADC is. With this Warriors...
Oh, unfortunate miss there, and another miss there from the overhead smash, but Pandabo actually finds a solo kill while the Raymaster gets some Majazic here in the mid lane. Unfortunate little miss there between the two of them, but they eventually found their mark.
Gravity Surge is doing a great job of engaging on these players. Using that monkey bounce, I should probably figure out what that ability is called. Using that Sacred Monkey to bounce between players as well as bounce all the way through the Nuon minions. Raymaster is doing a great job on this Hunbat so far this game.
Yeah, 3-0-2. Doing such a wonderful job positioning himself in these fights, and like you said, he did use that Fear No Evil ability pretty late in that fight, and just the cerebral kind of thought there to just wait and be patient with that ultimate is something that not many players have, so excellent work by him.
going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think one of the reasons that they're spending so much time in the solo lane side is because of how much pressure Axkill is able to put onto the Cerberus. He's poking the Cerberus down to almost half HP, while the Jingxin passive allowing him to stay up at 3/4 to full HP. And that's why they're...
We need to check in on this fight here as Star Factor gets a double taunt right into the shield wall, but right now, Raymaster is trying to make the rotation. He is looking over the wall to see if anyone's coming, and Dinero is getting vision there. Does pop the Fear No Evil, but was immune there very slightly. Almost gets away, but the Raymaster's Crusher actually finds the last hit on Dizadro, and right now trying to evacuate is the rest of the team, but a great taunt from the Athena is going to throw them right back into the members of the blue team. Ultimate from the Cerberus gets immune there by Axkill. How is no one dead?
And every member on the side of Gravity Surge is able to get out there. That was a great 3-man taunt on the side of Jahinza Transports, but unfortunately the Rama decided to split up his damage and hit the Ganesha instead of hitting the initial target of the Hachiman, and then ending up missing that third ultimate shot from the Astral Barrage. That was a great attempt on the side of Rama, but unfortunately a couple of those missed their mark, and every player on the side of Gravity Surge was able to escape.
That was really, really unfortunate there for Jahinza Transport. So we need to talk a little bit about this objective here. I mean, no one's gone for the gold here, and it's nearly 14 minutes, but are Jahinza Transports even able to?
Jahinza Transports is not quite able to go for this. I think the team who would try to go for it would be the Gravity Surge, but Gravity Surge is going to have a hard time with the global vision from the Nuwa on the side of Jahinza Transports, as well as the incredible team fight that happens with the Cerberus. So being able to get them off if he wanted to, even though he is a level down from Axkill, he's still tanky enough and has a great CC ultimate to keep the rest of the team away from the Gold Fury if they were to try to go for it. And as we're talking about that, it looks like they get a little bit of pressure on the left-hand side, and they're able to take it for free. They saw that the Ravana was over on the right-hand side, of the dual lane side, and so they knew that they could get away with sneaking that Gold Fury, and if anyone tried to contest, they'd just be able to burst them down. So that was great awareness on the side of Gravity Surge.
Right now, Gravity Surge aggressing one more time onto this objective here in the Pyromancer. 4 members are on this side of the map, and Athena is waiting in the wings on that side, but does go down. Actually does go to the side of Gravity Surge, so they will secure the objective, but they need to be careful because Dinero is so low and the Raymaster is even lower. But the only one chasing right now is Tanky Gobbles, and Widden is just happy to go back to the mid lane and...
Yeah, this is another example of how mobile the Janus really is. Look at that communication between the solo laner and the mid laner. Nuwa is able to use that Aegis and get away. Not only is she able to get away, she's also able to pick up the kill on Within. That was a great play by the Nuwa.
That's just, it goes to show you what a skilled Nuwa player can do. Even though that Shining Metal is quite a thin projectile, she was able to actually hit that pretty successfully, and we are seeing a pause come out here. So we'll just take a very short break and come back to you in just a moment. Sorry about that, guys. We are back in this finals between Jahinza Transport and Gravity Surge, and I'm still here with Serial.
Hello, everybody. Looks like we're gonna have some pressure put on, the Ganesha putting some pressure in the mid lane, but realizing he can't really push anything. The Nua's at a level now where she can just full clear the wave, so there's not much pressure that the Ganesha can push, except to try to push maybe one minion under tower so that Nua gets the reduced gold. Looks like there's gonna be an engage in mid though with the initial dash from the Ganesha. That was a great taunt by the Athena to disengage, but good poke on the side of Gravity Surge.
TP into mid here from Tanky Gobbles. Meanwhile, Xingchen is going to continue to push down that solo side tier 1, and Hoonbots is making himself known on the left-hand side, invading this purple buff. Robin is here. Purple does go down, but Raymaster needs to be careful because he is only with his Hachiman here, but Quintinus is significantly far behind the two of them. Oh, but Giannis all ever so slightly off the mark. Right now, Quintinus needs to be careful in the Raymaster! Oh, man. But, oh, okay, I mean, Sadler lived, I think, at one point, but Ultimate goes up into the sky from the ROM. Right now, Star Factor is stuck in the middle of the box. Quintinus comes on back down, but so does the Monkey, getting another kill on to his direct opponent. But Panabo, not done with this new one yet. Unfortunately, they missed one shot of the Fiery Snake, so did not get that last hit, but the Magic.
Again, just like the last game that we saw, when one team gets an advantage like this, and they get to have the severe team fight advantage, and that last team fight, it was a 4v2 because of the Janus ult mobility, as well as how confident they are invading the Jahinza Transport's jungle. So great job on the side of Gravity Surge to have that awareness of how far ahead they really are and how far they can push.
Yeah, right now the lead has spiraled a bit out of control. We are seeing go up to about 8.5k, and we are at only 19 minutes here in this game, and that's just gonna start spiraling even further out of control once the team of Gravity Surge starts to put pressure on this Fire Giant. I mean, even last game, we saw Chaos Esports go for a very early Fire Giant, and that netted them some pretty good kills, so we might see that happen one more time.
Yeah, if you look at the solo side for both of these teams, the Xingchen during that entire team fight, he decided he wanted to push a couple waves on the solo side. Because he's a Guardian, he's not worried. He doesn't have that extra damage to actually push down a tower himself, so he needs to let those minions do it, but he was only able to push through 2 minion waves. The tower is about 8 HP now, but the Xingchen was able to push himself up over the edge, over that the Cerberus. So that was a great decision by Xingchen just to stay over there and let his team, who's already plenty far enough ahead, let them just clean up every kill that they want.
Right now, Hoonbots not letting Jahinza Transports have anything here in this jungle. They're grouping up now as 3, trying to find a pick onto any willing taker here. But Athena, smart enough to not to engage there, but Xingchen actually wrapping around the very far back of this fight, going even behind the tier 2 tower in the solo side, trying to keep the focus on him while the rest of Gravity Surge do the Gold Fury, and no contest at all.
Yeah, I think in that instance they should have looked to try to push down that T1 tower. It only had about an 8th HP. The Athena is tanky enough at this point in the game that I think they could have walked forward and tried to take that down while they did the Gold Fury, but they opted to just fall back. Looks like Cerberus is going to jump in, get a double ult. No stun was used, however Panabo had to expend his Aegis. Panabo gets a lot of damage off with the Hachiman. Oh, Hunbats comes in with his Fear No Evil. The Athena is pretty far out of position, but is able to use her dash to get away from the rest of the team. It's going to be interesting if people can chase him down. Looks like the Athena is as far away from his team as possible. Janus is able to use his threshold to slow the Athena as well as land his 2. A lot of damage coming out of that Janus. Janus is feeling so confident he's going to portal in with the rest of his team around him to keep him safe.
Jump in there from Tanky Gobble, so Panabo's just going to jump right out of there. Right now, do you know, excuse me, on the Ganesh, putting some pressure on the Gobbles and Quintinus, keeping them away from that Pyromancer as it's done so quickly by the side of Gravity Surge. That's another objective going their way, and they're just increasing their gold lead even further. I mean, they're sitting at 10k.
This is a very significant lead, and you can see just there with the Ganesh transports. the rest of Jahinza transports who were in mid while Gravity Surge was able to do that Pyromancer. The damage that Rama was putting out onto that Ganesha, with Ganesha being the exact same level as him, that's a pretty big indicator of how far behind Jahinza transports really are in this game.
Yes, I mean, just between the two ADCs, there's a 6k player damage difference, and that's quite significant considering that their builds really, you know, they're pretty different, but they have different aims here as characters, not to mention their differences in kits. And between the two, what does Hachiman's build bring that Ramos doesn't?
Well, it looks like there's going to be a pick. Oh, looks like Athena is going to be just tanky enough to live through that Fear No Evil as well as the overhead smash. There comes the Janus ult to show up on time. Ganesha deciding that he wants to keep chasing this Athena down. Athena's able to use the taunt and keep the Ganesha away from the rest of the team. They're only going to pick up one right now. Tanky Gobbles does fall as well. Nua's going to go up into the air. You can see how much damage is done to the squishy characters, especially that Hunlo taking a couple of tower shots. Everyone on the side of Gravity Surge is going to be able to engage and get out. Hopefully they're going to use this level and gold lead to their advantage and look for an objective. Whether that's the Fire Giant or taking another tower. They decide to take the tower in the mid lane. They're all going to back to base, buy a couple items. They'll come back and the call will probably be to go for the Fire Giant.
So, back to what I was asking about before, you can see that the Hunter builds are pretty different, actually, and almost every item here except for the Hunter's Blessing and the execution at the very end there. But what does Hachiman's build achieve and not Rom's that's causing him to do so much more damage?
So Hachiman has his ultimate ability is a giant cone. So if he decides he wants to use his ability in a fight in mid, for instance, he can hit all 5 players with a homing missile, essentially. That does a significant amount of damage with the build that he has right now. So going for more of a power-based build instead of an attack speed-based build like Rama is, I think that's the right decision on most Hachiman. His ult can do upwards of 500 to 600 damage. Looks like the Rama beads are going to be expended. The Gravity Surge Hunbats, Raymaster is going to know that Rama's beads are down, and he's going to be looking to engage all the way in the backline for this next fight.
Speaking of engaging all the way in the backline, we see Duno going pretty ham there, trying to find a pick onto Tanky Gobbles or the Athena, but he's going to be content to back up, tank up this tier 2, and group up with the rest of his team as they do have the Fire Giant, so they will be doing extra damage to those towers as well as having a little bit of extra sustain, so Duno can tank that up with no problem.
Not only does he have that sustain, but he also has the Mail of Renewal, which is an interesting pickup. I really love that he decided to buy that, especially with the lead that they have in this game. Looks like Hanbats is going to blink, so is the Jing Shen, and there is no way that Rama, just like we talked about, he had no beads left, so he's going to fall from the battlefield. They're still going though. Gravity Surge takes that tier 2 tower while the frontliners are pushing into the Phoenix. Great Ganesha ult. Raymaster gets a triple kill. Cerberus decides he wants to throw the axe kill away from the rest of the team. Looks like it's just going to be a triple kill on the side of Raymaster, and they're going to look to take that mid Phoenix. 3 people are dead on the side of Jahinza Esports. Robin with the blink in, trying to get some damage out, but it looks like they're focusing the Titan as much as they possibly can, ignoring the Robin on the backside. They know that he doesn't really have a way to kill the rest of the team, and in fact, they're just going to take him out. And looks like that's going to be the game.
Yeah, what a fight there from Gravity Surge. 20 kills to their opponent's 3, and that's getting much entirely on the back of Raymaster. And those first couple of kills from Pandabo and Duno can't be ignored either. That upgraded sprint did a ton of work in that dual lane.
Yeah, they had pressure over there for pretty much the entire game, which was fantastic. But again, you see that the jungler is the one who is primarily pushing these games to the victory for both games that we've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, that is going to be the championship match. So Gravity Surge are your winners for this week's Battle for Athens. And that may be it for Athens, but we still got 2 games of Asgard coming up right soon.